I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop coming.
Right. Good professional setup here. You can see I didn't have my microphone plugged in. I still don't have my microphone up to my mouth. And I put on a wrinkly t-shirt for you guys. You know what I mean? Nothing but professionalism here, man. You guys are going to get quality content here. Well, I mean, that's all that really matters, right? Is the information that you're getting, not the visual. I don't need to be all dressed up, for it. I'm a comic artist. I mean, for all you know, I could be drawing in my underwear, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, that's one of the luxuries. There's positive and negatives to being a comic artist. One is, I mean, you don't have to get dressed. You can just wear whatever you want. You can draw in your birthday suit if you want, or your PJs, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's nice. It's pretty cool. But the downside is you don't get a lot of exercise. I think I'm supposed to be on this one, right? Aren't I supposed to be on? No, am I don't sound funny, right? Robotic or anything? I think I sound all right. Hopefully. I'm checking on my settings here because I haven't streamed in a while. Been a while. So I'm hoping to that my settings and everything are okay. ID Christ says Jim Reyes is gonna make me a comic book star. Man, look at that. This little leaf thing is covering up stuff. Did they not realize that when they designed it? Look at this. I mean, it's cool, it's neat, but it covers up stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I like it. It's fall, little feathers in the top left corner, up on that top corner over there, kind of remind me of turkey feathers, gobble, gobble. All right. So welcome, guys. Appreciate that you guys are in today, hanging out with me. I'm going to be doing some artwork, drawing, and chatting with you guys about, speaking of, making you a comic book star. I have worked really hard to make Clip Studio Paint a program that I can use to get through my work and work with much more efficiency, saving time, better quality work. And I want to be able to deliver digital work that is somewhat, with a traditional feel, because I really dislike when you see digital artwork, you look at it and you just go, that's straight digital. I love artists like Pepe Larraz. I love his work. He's super talented. Jorge Jimenez, super talented. I love their work. They're both, Spanish artists like me. And but when you see their work right away, you just go, boom, that's digital. You can see it in their work, and it's obvious. And for me personally, my art style, nothing against their style, because they're artists who work I admire. I buy anything they draw, anything that they print, that has their name on it. I'll buy it because I love their work. So it's not an attack against them or anything like that. It's just personal preference to me. I don't like that digital look. So I've worked really hard to create a traditional look to the pencils, because I love the work and the artwork. I came up in the 90s, and I love, that type of quality work that we would see back from the 70s all the way through the 90s that has gone the way of the dodo bird, It's gone the way of the turkey during Thanksgiving. It's gotten roasted. It's gone, nearly extinct. There's not a whole lot of it out there. So I created brushes that pencil set pencils for myself that can give me a good quality look. And like I said, I do admire Pepe Larraz. I do admire Jorge Jimenez. I do like some of those the obvious digital textures that they're using. I like a lot of it. The point where it can save you time. If you have a brush and you can just spread this texture, it'll save you time. And I do like that. The only thing about it is I don't want my textures to be too obvious that they're a brush, that they're digital. So I've been working on creating new brushes, and I did create one for myself recently that I'm going to add to my digital inking kit. So the digital inking kit originally had, when it first started, I think it had like 9 brushes. It's up to 10 brushes now. You really don't need that many brushes. But I did decide to add some tonal hatching because there are little areas, that I want to, you can kind of see here, there these cool little like texture kind of things that I really, want to be able to add in certain areas and to incorporate in my work, but still have a bit of not quite as obvious. There's different techniques and styles that you can use so that these stamp textures aren't quite as obvious. So that's going to be a new brush going in that I'm going to give to everybody who's already bought the digital inking kit. That's going to be absolutely free. It's going to be a free addition to it. So if you guys are interested, and you're interested in here, you can get all that. It's going to be free with the digital inking kit. So if you've purchased it, I'm just going to add to it. Vergox says, "Hey Jimmy, could you think you could show us page setting, size?" I have all that for free for you. You just simply go over to the link at the very top of the description of this video right now up in the chat. Go to the pinned link that's up there. Click on that and go to the free. Go to my free package deal that I've got, and I have a template in there. In there, it'll give you all the bleeds. It'll give you the page size, the resolution, so you can just work within that, and then you can just open up that document, and you can just take the settings from there and save it as a template if you want, or you can always just open that blank file and work off that blank file. So I have that for you absolutely free. If you just go to that on there. But let me read the rest of it. It says, size, bleed, etc. in Clip Studio Paint for print size 11x17 is a bit heavy for my tablet, and I'd rather work closer to print size with larger DPI. Yeah, that's really the way, the way that I prefer to go. If you look at the top of my screen up above, you can already, you can see up here at the very top of my screen, if you're not on a mobile device, if you look up there, you can see the file name. You can see how many pages are within my document. You can see my document size, 6.88 by 10.5. But there are different sizes within the Clip Studio document. You get 3 different areas that you set, in there. So you have the, the bleed, the trim that you mentioned, the page size. All that is in that document. That's absolutely free. It's up there on the top of the chat. And I like to work at 600 DPI because I output at 300 DPI. So I work at twice the resolution so that I can put a little more detail. And then when I shrink it down to get it ready to go to print, it gets, crisp, clear, and it looks just a little cleaner. So I like to work at 600 DPI. So depending on your tablet, I don't know which tablet you're working on, if you're Android based or if you're an iPad. So it just depends on your machine, of course, and how much that machine can handle and the processor speed and all that. But generally, Clip Studio Paint doesn't take up a lot of memory. It's not memory hungry like Photoshop. Photoshop is very memory hungry. And Clip Studio Paint just works so much more, swiftly, fast. I don't know how the little magic little leprechauns within Clip Studio Paint, how they work their magic, but it's an amazing program. It's never crashed on me, and although I do work in raster, it's kind of feels like it's a hybrid with the image. I can import images that are low resolution. I can pull and stretch them out in that 600 DPI document, stretch them out, and they don't pixelate. They stay really crisp and clear. And I have no idea how Clip Studio Paint does it. So it's an amazing program. But if you decide that you do want more information and you want to work within the type of template that I have a specific template here that I can show you. This template, it isn't a free template. It comes part of the penciler kit. So the penciler kit right now on Black Friday, I've marked it down the cheapest any of this stuff has ever been. I've actually never done a Black Friday, and it's a lot of work setting it up and then having to remove it, sending out the notifications and all that. So I haven't in the 8 years or 6 years that I've had these products. I have never done a Black Friday. This is my first Black Friday. So I may never do another again. So if you want these at the deal, get them now. If it goes really well, maybe I will offer another Black Friday, but it's definitely got to be worth it because it's a lot of work setting it up for you guys. But I wanted to at least do it once because I want you guys to be able to get this stuff at a deal, because I know right now, I mean, if you're just starting out and you're just doing this and you're not working professionally yet, it's a lot of money, to invest, in yourself. So, even though I had it at $25, it was, that's still, a lot of money. $25 it's $25. But I'm not sure which file it is. Let me open it up here. But I've marked it down at $10. So you guys, it's very affordable now. So you're definitely improving your skills and working with professional tools and optimizing your workflow is you're definitely worth that $10. This is something that you're investing in you. You're buying yourself a Christmas gift. This is invest in your future, your skill. It's like investing in school. Of course, all these things are very, very expensive because it's years and years of knowledge that I'm sharing. 30 years of knowledge in my inking kit. It took me 30 years to master Acroquill, and I am putting that all into a kit where I can try to help you guys to try to save you time so that you don't have to spend that 30 years. But realistically, this is artwork. This is a skill. This is a trade. It is going to take you time. There's no shortcut. There's no instant magic pill. There's no instant plug-in to make you, draw like an incredible artist. You have to do the work. Every one of us has done the work. So this is the other template that you'll get within, within the penciler kit, showing you the dimension in the area where you work, where you want to work within. I also have in that penciler kit as well, there is also a professional paper template. So if you want to be able to draw within, the actual dimensions that you would when when I was working on Avengers for Marvel, there were specific dimensions that we had to work in. So this is the actual paper size right here. And this is the template that you would work in. So there are several different templates depending on how you want to work, because we are all, each artist, we all have different approach and different ways that we all want to work. But in that penciler kit that I've got, there are, several templates. These aren't the free templates, but the free template does have that outer size. So it has the dimension of the 6.88 by 10.5. It will also have the 600 DPI for you. So you can work within that. And then there is an image safe area within the free template that I've got. So if you go over to my Gumroad and over here on the Gumroad, let me get back. All you have to do is just go over, see the free gift, and you click on the free gift, and it's it's whatever price you want to pay. If you want to pay $0, you know, because I know how it is, you know, we're all starving artists, right? So, you know, $0, you just say $0. And what you will get is you will get the template that you can draw within. It's also a template if you want to be an inker. You can also work within that template, import your images, work within that template so that when you output the artwork, send it off professionally to get printed, you're already within the right amount of dimensions. You're also within the DPI for standard Western comics for here in America. If you're European comics, your sizes are going to be different. But I also, in this file, I give you a free brush, one amazing brush that I'm extremely proud of that has gotten 5-star rating on it. It's an amazing brush. Everybody's impressed with it. My professional peers are my biggest customers. You know, surprisingly, amateur artists, you know, they go, well, I don't know if I want to pay $25. And I understand, you know, I don't know if I want to pay $25 for the kit. You know, it comes with videos and stuff like that, and brushes and templates and auto actions and stuff. And then, you know, they're not sure because, you know, they're not working professionally. They don't quite, they're not in the business yet. But my biggest customers have been my professional peers and big name inkers and artists within the industry, you know, have all bought my kit. And so my kits, you know, and they're, because, you know, when you're working professional, I mean, you do the stuff day in, day out, you know, when you see something that you're like, hey, that's going to help me make deadlines. That's a good thing. You know it right away because you're in the business. But when you're starting out, you're also, like I said, if you're not making money off your artwork and it's a hobby or something you don't do all the time, then the $25 could be quite a bit. But, you know, knowing that, you know, and what I always say is you know, you're investing in you. So if you're not willing to invest $25 in yourself, then you're probably not serious about an art career, you know. But knowing that there are people out there who aren't looking for a career in art, they just want to dabble in, you know, and just doodle in art and stuff like that, digital. So I gave away this free gift for those people, you know, and I'm giving away a great brush. I mean, you could see people, you know, great reviews, people always saying great stuff and genius, total master. And, you know, I appreciate all those compliments. You know, I mean, I put a lot of work into this stuff. So what you're buying is you're buying my expertise. You are buying my research, my development, my time that I've spent, you know, my experience. And that's what you're getting. That's what sets this apart from anything else. But you also get a double page spread because Clip Studio Paint does not give double page spreads within it. It doesn't automatically have it. So you have to build and make your own. So I've made one. And if you just want to do, say you're doing freelance work and you're just doing a cover and you're in Clip Studio Paint and then they want a wraparound cover and you're like, how do I create the dimensions for it? I've already got that for you. So it's in here, absolutely free. You pay what you want. If you want to tip $1, you want to say, I don't have it right now, that's absolutely fine. All you do, put in your email. And I would highly recommend putting in an email that works, that's functional, because I add to this. And when I add to this, if you don't have a functioning email that you check often, when I add free stuff to this, you're going to miss out. You're not going to get it. And whenever I have something like right now, this is my very first time ever. That's why I'm making a video about this. My first time ever doing a Black Friday deal. It's going to be from Black Friday all the way through Cyber Monday. Actually, it's on right now. I just said, you know what? I don't feel like messing with this thing because you have to set the time, the limit. I just like, you know what? I want to make it easy on me. I got work to do. I've got deadlines, you know, and you know, I'm not in the business of making brushes and digital art products. I'm not an art supply person. I am a guy who's making art supplies for me. My professional peers were the ones that were asking me, hey, can I get a copy of that brush? Where did you get that brush? And I said, I made it. And I started giving this stuff away. And one of my good buddies said, hey, you know, you should sell this, you know? And he said, have you heard of Clip Studio? So I was like, yeah. So, I mean, have you heard of Gumroad? And I said, yeah, I've seen it. You know, I've gotten a few stuff off there myself. And he said, you should think about a Gumroad, you know? And so my peers were the ones that started buying this stuff from me, you know? And so I put the stuff up here, you know, and I'm offering this up here, and it's, you know, you know, the money that I get from it, it's really great because it helps pay for things like this channel. I'm able to get more microphones, better cameras. You know, it allows me to do, you know, I can buy traditional art supplies. So, you know, whatever it is, you know, that, you know, that you decide, you know, you want to purchase. Some people saw that it's only $10. I've had people that said, you know, they're still tipping over it. So I've had people that are still, you know, going in and saying, well, I want to pay 15 for it. You know, which I really appreciate because it's not just, you know, oh, you're supporting a rich artist who doesn't need it. We're all starving artists, but this money definitely, art supplies are expensive. So I use this money and I reinvest it, you know. And so here's the digital inking kit, Black Friday deal. And I'm going to start drawing here in a minute. If you guys are wondering, you know, it's not just going to be like an infomercial, like, you know, this, you know, this is the wow, this thing can sharpen and shine. And, you know, I'm not a snake oil or infomercial type person. I'm an artist like you guys. And I'm, like I said, I'm just sharing my knowledge, my experience. And I try to share as much for free as I can. But honestly, we can't give it all away for free. I mean, you know, things cost money, just like for you. I mean, things cost money for you. You've got things you got to buy, and you know that, you know, art supplies are expensive. The streaming service is, you know, costs money. So I need to make money to be able to provide this stuff to you for free on YouTube. And if I, you know, I can't pay out of pocket for myself, it wouldn't make any sense to you know, to do that. So up here, you can see for a limited time, this was updated November 14th. I added new pencils. I modified the pencils. I tweaked them because as I work, I still continue my research as I'm drawing. And as I'm drawing, I go, oh, I need the pencil to do this. It needs more of this feature so that I can work better. So I go back and I tweak these pencils as I'm going, and then I update the kits. So the kits will be constantly updated. They've been updated for 8 years or 6 years or whatever time that they've been up here. I think 6 years, and that they've been up here. And, you know, just to let you guys know, give you guys an idea, 5,000 comic book art, the 5,000 professional artists have, and I shouldn't say comic book artists, because storyboard artists, conceptual artists have all written me and said, hey, I'm working on this for Marvel, you know, Entertainment, and hey, I'm doing this over here for this video game company, and I bought your brushes and I love them, you know, and I just wanted to let you know. And they'll share. Sometimes they'll say, I drew this with your pencils, and they'll send me their work. And I get that, you know, I get those emails and I go, wow, that's so amazing. You know, I can't believe that, you know, how many working professionals have downloaded this. So if you guys take a look, you can verify, you can see, I mean, you can see how many ratings, how many downloads. I mean, just so many people. And I'm so grateful that there are so many out there, but to be realistic, I mean, 5,000 is a lot, but it's not every artist. I mean, there's millions of artists out there. So 5,000 is a small number because I don't advertise this anywhere outside of, you know, where you're watching me right now, because I'm not really in the business to do this. I just, you know, want to offer it for people that, you know, guys, come watch my channel and you can see. So this is here. It's available for you guys. Black Friday deal. It's going to end Cyber Monday. It's going to go back to the regular price of $15. Originally they were $25. I decided to lower them down to $15 to try to make it a little more affordable for you guys. Now that I've made some money from it, I can hopefully, now that I've gotten more customers, as I get more customers, I can try to bring the price down more. So I'm able to bring the price down to 15. You know, right now it's at $10. So what used to cost $25 for one, you can now pay less than that, $20, and get both kits. Both kits, if you're an artist at Pencils and Inks, you're going to want both kits. The penciling kit will have video aids to it. It'll have the you know, like how to install the brush, how to modify the brush, how I use the brush, stuff like that. I'm working on that video series right now. I don't want to rush them. I want to make good quality videos that are easy to follow for the penciling kit. The only thing is right now I'm on a deadline. I'm working on a book. I'm trying to get it out by January. So the video, you know, I'm filming it little by little and I will put it in there, but the video, don't worry. You don't have to pay anything additional. If you've already bought the kit, you just, whatever I add to it, you'll get an email notification. So make sure you put in a good, proper email. You'll get notified and it'll say, hey, come get your free new video course added to it. Well, I shouldn't say course because a video course, I'm working on a video course on how to ink traditionally, how to ink digitally. I'm working on one on how to pencil digitally, and little by little working on that course. I'm hoping we're going to release those later in 2025 and offer them up here on my Gumroad and try to bring the price down to, there are art courses out there for comic books and boot camps or whatever, and they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So what I want to do is try to bring mine down to somewhere like where I had it, like $25, and make it much more, affordable. And it's going to be a video so that you can follow along, make it easy. I'm a visual learner. We're all visual learners, most of us as artists. So it's a great deal, guys. If you can't see it for yourself, I'm going to stop trying to sell it because, you know what I mean? If you don't see that's a great deal, then, I don't need to sell it to the, try to convince the people that are just doing this as a hobby. But this is there. It's available for you if you want to take advantage of the option. Cyber Monday is the day it ends, guys. So I've got work I got to get done. So I'm going to say hi to you guys in here and say hello. And I want to show you guys some of my work. If you guys are going, well, that's, what are some of the things you could do with this digital inking kit? What can you do with this, this digital penciling kit? What are the things? I'm going to show you guys. You guys can watch me as I work. I'm going to pencil. And this is the work that I've done, that I have drawn. This is a character from my new book called Darklanders. Darklanders is going to be crowdfunded. And the estimated launch date for Darklanders is going to be in January, most likely mid-January, somewhere around there. And I want to launch this this book. It's Jimmy Reyes's Darklanders, and I'm working pretty hard on it. I've already finished all of the preliminary layouts, like you see right now. This is a preliminary layout. This is I've drawn roughs underneath, and then this is my I cleaned up those roughs a little bit, and then from here I take that and I will take it into where I render and clean up the art. So I'm now starting on page 1 to it's a 32-page comic book. They're already all done. I'm now starting on page 1, rendering the artwork, getting the artwork to the point where it's nice. And, I got my light source, all my rendering, my textures, and then I just go in and ink it. So almost done, 32 pages, and, I'm not the slowest pencil in the world. I'm actually, I used to be slow when I was penciling traditionally, but now that I do digital work, I've got so many shortcuts and auto actions and the different tools and techniques that have sped up that time. I mean, I can pencil a page a day now. So, with heavy amount of detail, and then I can ink it, anywhere from 4 hours to, 8 hours. So it depends on the type of detail that I have. I mean, I love putting in hyper detail. I don't do hyper realism. I'm not into hyper realism. I like the big fantasy, bigger, muscular, longer leg women and muscular, guys in there, and the forced perspective. I love all that stuff that, you don't get in realism. So I don't do the hyper realism, but I do hyper detail. I mean, there's just tons of detail. And then look at this wolf, man. Look at that. Just having fun with it, put in this detail and really, to be honest, there's really no reason why we can't all do this. This is digital. The brushes are the ones really that are always consistent. It isn't where when I work traditionally, you have to be focused on controlling and manipulating that crow quill or your brush, because if your hand gets fatigued or tired, that, then the line's gonna, you put too much weight down, the line's gonna come out thicker. If you're not confident in throwing the line down quickly, you're gonna get shaky lines. But with the digital brushes, they're programmed already to be consistent, so you can just throw your lines, and you could do this in your sleep really. And so it's it's so much easier. Of course, I mean, there's fundamentals in artwork that you need to learn, and that's why I want to offer a drawing course. If you like my art style, I'm not saying that I'm the best and this is the only way to do it. But this is a way that, unfortunately, modern comics today in the mainstream just aren't doing this type of artwork, because, they, you're not going to make you're not going to make money if you're spending. The more time you spend on your page, the less money you're making. So, because page rates have decreased right now, and comics aren't selling what they used to sell. So, I mean, comics used to sell, big name comics, big title comics would sell 1 million copies. Now they're lucky if they sell 25,000 copies. So it's, and the big titles are selling, 60,000 copies. So you can see the big number and the difference, in sales. So if they're not bringing in that kind of money, they can't pay artists, put out artists that kind of money. You can't sustain a business that way. So artists today are looking for quick, fast, get the work out. They're all going digital. They all want stamp brushes. They all want, 3D asset backgrounds and just, so unfortunately, quality of artwork, it's declining. But for me, there's still a few of us out there who are, I don't want to say purists, but I don't know, maybe we're OCD. Maybe it's our egos. I don't know what it is, but for me, I'm not putting out high quality work that can stand up against, my peers, of course, my work is obviously influenced, you see a lot of Dave Finch, but it's also influenced by Mark Silvestri. I mean, I am a student of, Dave being a good friend. He taught me a lot. I worked with Dave. I was his inker for quite a while, and we did a lot of work together. I've learned a lot from him, and, his work is obviously an influence in my work, but I also have guys like, Mark Silvestri, John Buscema. I have Rudy Nebra, tons of different artists that have inspired my work. And I want to make sure that my works can compete with theirs. I'm not a Mark Silvestri, I mean, only Mark Silvestri is Mark Silvestri, but I want my work to be, when I'm on the shelf next to Mark Silvestri, I want to bring my A game. So I'm going to do the best work I can, but I can't spend forever on it. So I want to create a way that I can draw things faster and more efficient. And at the same time, my option is to do crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is the way that I can take my time, do a really good book, good artwork, very interesting characters, and then I can make money back, from that, make a little bit of money, through crowdfunding. So that's my approach and what I'm doing. So I'm gonna say hi to you guys. Think you guys are popping in now? Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna say hi real quick, and then I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna draw. Got my my warm tea. My lukewarm tea now. Yeah. I got my ginger tea. It's good for the tummy. Ooh, I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry, I got a couple of monitors here. Vigok says, thanks, man. Yeah, you got one that's free there. So, go for the free one if you want. If not, there's the one in the penciler kit. Brian Dragon, not a pro like Mr. Reyes, but I've been using these brushes for a few years. They are my preferred inking brushes. So many ways to use them. Yeah, it's been interesting where, and thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Where there are different approach that people have been using. One of them is a professional colorist, Kurt, who you may remember Kurt and I did, and David Finch, we all did an art demo where Dave drew Moon Knight. He drew it traditionally, and people got to watch on the live stream. After he penciled it, he handed it to me. I inked it live on the live stream. People got to watch that. After I inked it, I handed it off to Kurt, and Kurt was the colorist, and he put colors on it. And what was interesting was Kurt took my free brush that I give in the free gift set. He took that brush and he started coloring with it. He saw it beyond, saying, well, he wanted these pin-like strokes in his color work. And I never thought to use that brush for color, but I designed it where you can apply any color of ink to it you wanted to any of my brushes, even my pencils. If you decide you want to pencil in blue, you just pick a blue color instead of black, and say I take my pencil and I just, get the color blue or the color red, and my pencils can do that. So I always keep that option. You can either make them in grayscale or in color when you're designing brushes, but I always make my brushes the option of you choose the color for it, because you never know, it just, you don't want to narrow down your options. You don't want to, just say, oh, it's just going to be for black and white, because you never know how you're going to use it later. And especially since I whatever brush I create personally for myself, after I know that I can use it professionally and that it works, I'll put it in my kits. So I don't put anything in my kit that's experimental. I only put functional tools that work for making comics. So if it's not in my kit, then most likely, you probably don't need it, and then whenever I do add little extra things that come along the way that I do need for a specific project, if a project, requires a certain texture or something, and I don't have a way of making that texture, then I'll make a brush for it. So I have a new brush that I'm going to put into the inking kit. So I've got this double page spread. It's the cowboy that we see. This cowboy, he's riding in. He's riding on a horse. See the tree textures I've been putting in. And we see the back shot, the cowboy riding, down the hill. Actually, I've got to put in some tree line right here. And I have different pencils. I have a loose pencil that I have for when I draw my roughs. And then I have this one that mimics I have one that mimics a wooden pencil, a wooden HB pencil. And then I have one that mimics a 2H mechanical, 2mm, lead and lid holder. And so I put in my details with that, but I want to put in like tree lines right there. So I just put some notes to myself before I forget while I was showing you guys, while I remembered. And there's the wolves who are looking down at this cowboy. So we see that they are watching him. He's being watched. And then we got a double page spread. Bam, there's the cowboy. He's on the horse. See his face. He's kind of just looking over. And then he pulls the horse over. Like, come on, let's go that way. There's a cabin in the woods. And so now I'm going to start penciling. I'm going to pencil in some cool wood textures, and then I'll probably pencil in the horse and all that stuff. Art supplies themselves are big business. Yeah, I mean, there are people that make a lot of money from making all this stuff on even digital, on Gumroad. There are tons of guys that I've run into, I've gotten to meet and talk to, because they'll ask me, like, hey, how did you make this brush? I love it, man. I like the way you did this or did that. And then we'll talk about, how we've made brushes, or they'll talk to me about how they made videos, or they'll go, hey, have you ever thought about video tutorials, or you ever thought about making a book and a digital book, art how-to book, PDF. And so it's been neat. I've gotten to meet other people that are doing this stuff, and that's all they do. They really don't do any professional work other than they create all this brushes and stuff. And I go, that's I know it's a pretty big business that people can do, but I love drawing. I'm a comic artist. I create comics. I don't really want to create art supplies, you know. So to me, I'm not in that business, and it's a good business. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not. You know, these guys that do it, guys and girls. I mean, I've met that do it. They're making good money. You know, and for me, it's a good way for me to augment my income. I'm able to. Ooh, I'll make a tangent if I draw this right here, like this up here on the top. Can you guys see that? To his hat. I didn't realize I when I sketched it in loosely, I would have a tangent right there. I got to fix that. So, for me, it's nice to just get back a little bit from it. That way, it's not quite so expensive for me to be able to do this stuff on YouTube, because I don't make any money on YouTube. I think I make $300 a year on YouTube. So it's, you know, YouTube has changed its way that it's doing stuff so much that it's very hard to make money. You really have to pick up like sponsors and stuff like that. And I don't want to be, having to bring on other products from other companies and stuff like that. I mean, I have some integrity, you know. I mean, I don't want to shill for all these products, you know, just for $1, but I would be interested in like Wacom reached out to me recently, and I would be interested in Wacom. I use Wacom's products. I believe in it. Clip Studio Paint reached out as well, and I use Clip Studio Paint. I believe in it. So I wouldn't mind promoting their stuff, you know. And they're good products. So, all right, I'm gonna get ready to draw this tree. If you're wondering, I'm gonna render in this tree right here. I got to get this done. I've got grass and another tree, so I'll probably start working within this tree that you see right here. And I'm gonna start working on that. Just want to say hello to you guys again. Virgo said, I had actually purchased a pencil set a couple of weeks ago. It's a great tool set, by the way. I highly recommend it. I hadn't checked the templates though. 100% my bad. Thanks a lot, Jimmy. No problem at all. The penciling set I just updated on November 14th. So I separated the templates to make it easier for there's two different styles. So as I develop the kit more and more, I'll find new ways to try to make things easier for all of us, you know, to be able to use the kit as we're working. And to be honest, it's the only kit out there. There is no other kit like that for Clip Studio Paint. You know, people were asking me at the beginning, "Oh, I just want the brush. Can't you just sell the brush?" And it was like, why? There's a million people selling just brushes. You know, you can go get their brush. But there was nobody selling a kit for artists. You know, there was nobody selling, you know, this is all the stuff that you need for penciling comic books. This in Clip Studio Paint. This is the stuff that you could use that professionals are using. I mean, I'm a professional. I designed and used it. My peers are using it, out there and they're working with it. And here's, all the stuff that we use for inking, when you do digital inking. I got Chuck Gibson. He worked at Wildstorm. He's an inker of 30 years and over 30 years experience. And he worked at Wildstorm. He's an inker that uses my digital inking kit. And I mean, I'm not going to say everybody who uses it because customers, they respect their privacy. But Chuck is he's given me permission. He said, "Hey, you can quote me, on that. I really like what you've got here." So let me see what else we got. ID Crisis. What does he say? ID Crisis, make that money. Yeah, I mean, I can't give it away for everything for free. I mean, I've got bills just like everybody else, and Unfortunately, YouTube, to be on YouTube, if you want to stream, it costs money. So, I mean, I'm streaming right now in 1080p. So I could get the free version, but the free version would have, a watermark. It has the 720, and I want to stream to you guys in 1080p so that you guys can see this stuff, all the line work, and see how clear everything is, because it's very imperative. It's art. You have to be able to see it, all the line work and the detail, on the screen. But really, if you want to see my final work, to see what all the little intricate details are, really, you got to buy the book. That way, the printed work, that's where you're going to get to see all the cool. And, a lot of you guys do. I appreciate the support that you guys do. So I'm going to use another pencil I've got here just to kind of quickly, I can fill in, make the brush bigger. I can just fill in bigger spots. I can say I want all this to be in shadow and black. So I can have fun playing with the shape like this. And so I just use the lasso tool to create shapes and get some cool, interesting shapes. And then I just take that brush and I just shade it in real fast. And then if we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see where I've got, I have got that shading done real fast, So it depends on how you want to work, if you want to use the lasso tool and just fill it in real fast, or if you like shading in by hand, it's totally up to you. The Game Mechanic says, "Hey, Jimmy in chat. Hey, man, how's it going?" And so, thank you, ID Crisis. Man, you are full of compliments today. I appreciate that. You're very nice, man. It's very, very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're gonna make this brown man blush. And I like to take like my soft pencil and render in a lot of these this wooden texture. Texture is fun. I really enjoy it. It's the easiest part of the drawing, is putting in the shading and the texture. If you're thinking to yourself, man, how do you shade and put in these textures? I have a difficult time with it. Then that just means you just do right now. You won't it won't always be that way. It is actually way easier than you think to put in this lighting and shading. This lighting and shading, visually it could be appealing, but it's not the technical part of drawing. It's not where I would say I would look at the type of shading that somebody does and go, "Oh, wow, you can see their skill as an artist." That's really not where the skill lies. That's just the style. And say, "Oh, well, I like their style with their textures." But the skill in drawing itself is in the underdrawing, the form, the gesture, the looseness in your drawing for comic books. This is just my interpretation of the way that I see a tree. So I'm putting more shapes in here. Put my lasso fill tool, grab that brush real quick and just shade in real fast. This is the brush that's in the penciler. Everything you're watching me use right now, this is so far has been in the penciling kit. But the only thing, that's standard was that lasso. That's standard in Clip Studio Paint. You're the selection tool, And so right now, the Black Friday deal, if you guys go and get it, the kit, it is only till Cyber Monday. So it's today all the way through till December 2nd, which is only, what is that, 5 days around there? So if you guys don't get paid till Friday, don't worry. It'll still be there if you get paid on Monday. That'll be the last day, but the deal will still be going on, and no need to worry. This way, you'll be getting the highest rated brushes for comic books on Gumroad. There isn't any other set of brushes for comic book creation on Gumroad that's rated any higher or any popular than my brush set. I've been very, very fortunate having, my professional peers talking about them and sharing the word out. So that made the brushes pretty sought after. They're created by a professional comic artist for, comic book creation, It's pretty unique. So I'm starting to put in that tree. I'm giving it that really, really old wood, texture. It's falling on the ground. So here's the Cyber Monday deal. If you guys want to go get, you guys can get the Black Friday deal. It's only $10. I mean, you get the whole kit, for $10. And normally, you can't even buy brush sets for under $10 nowadays. Now, just, brushes are more than that. This has so much stuff in it. You can see what's inside the box. I mean, there's just so much. Plus, in the inking kit, over 3 hours of full HD video tutorials. I show you how to set up everything, how I set up my Wacom, how I set up my preferences in Clip Studio, how to import the brushes, how to modify the brushes. I show how I ink, how different techniques that I use, all, video, easy to follow, and just watch the videos. And I have auto actions in there that help to, at the end, make your inks look even more traditional and prepare them for print, to make those inks look really clean, and so they don't have this digital look to them. I have the auto action where, I've already gone in and adjusted the levels, the hues, and all that. That's why I've made a video on that, because that's in the kit. So, that way you just hit the auto action and it does it for you. Because if I were to go through and just like say, hey, this is step by step how I did it, then you wouldn't need the that auto action, So some stuff you'll only get in my kit, but on YouTube I will share a lot of what I'm doing, a lot of my drawing on YouTube. I share it for free. And some people agree, some people disagree, but it's like, hey, we're all, this is work for me. This isn't a hobby. I don't draw for fun. I draw professionally to make money and make a living to support my family. So the fact that I'm giving away anything for free, or the fact that any professional artist gives away anything for free, any advice, is very generous. Really, I mean, a lot of people, imagine you at work and they're like telling you, well, how come you're wanting to get paid at your job? That's not right. You should be able to, why don't you do, if you're a mechanic, hey, how come you're not telling me, you're not going on and working on my car for me, or tell me how to fix my car for free. It's like, you got to make money. You're a mechanic. That's what you do. If you're a dentist, you're like, hey, how come you're not working on my tooth for free, working on teeth for free? I think you should be giving away for free. It's like, that's their career, man. They spent, it's a skill, it's a trade. It's, we spent hours, we've dedicated our lives to honing this skill, to learning these things, and the fact that people are professionals that are sharing that knowledge and experience on YouTube. There are people that will do some for free, some stuff for free, but there's not many, because, it's hard work and it's a professional job for us, and it could be for you too. So, it's, the more time you spend, the more time you spend talking, the drier your mouth gets. The more time if you're not a working professional yet, but you're an aspiring artist, you want to be, you've got to devote that time. There's no way around it. You can't become a good artist just by watching videos. You watch, tutorials, and then that knowledge, you have to apply it. You have to take what you've learned, and you have to go through a million crummy drawings that you're just going, man, these drawings are not at the level where I want them to be. You just got to get the crummy stuff out first. You get rid of the bad, get rid of what doesn't work. And then you figure out what works for you, and you keep what works for you, and you use that, and you produce artwork for companies, for video game companies, for comic books, whatever, it is that you want to do. But you've got to work out what doesn't work for you. You got to figure that out. And we're artists. So there are basic, rules and techniques that every artist has to follow, but art is, subjective, and there's different styles, different tastes, and the way that we like to approach our work. So you've got to figure out what works for you. Our minds, work differently. You're unique, and you see the world differently than I do. Maybe we have a few views in common, but honestly, you see things differently. So your interpretation of how you want to draw a tree could vary from mine, but there could be little things that you could pick and use from the way I approach drawing my tree. Where you could say, well, I like Jimmy's approach to lighting in the negative space. And you decide you want to do that, but maybe you want to use a lot more shadows and hard, shadow to light, and less rendering. I'm using rendering in mind to try to create value within my work, so that there's different values, so that it feels like there's some gray tone in the work. Even though this is just straight black and white line work. But to me, it adds more mood, dimension, and texture. And Todd McFarlane said, if you're going to draw a tree, I'm ad-libbing here. I don't remember exactly. This was in the 90s. He said something more or less like, if you're going to draw a tree, then draw one kick-ass tree. Draw, a really good tree. I think he said something like, well, if you can't really draw people that well, but you could draw great trees, draw your kick-ass tree, or whatever, something like that. So I always think, to me, that based on the Todd McFarlane and stuff I've heard from guys like James Cameron and George Lucas, where they always talk about the setting and the environment, wherever your scene is, that the setting and environment is also a character. It could be interesting as well, with the colors, the textures, the way that it's color graded. So for me, I want to make those backgrounds, and even just this tree right here just really can set the kind of mood and tell you what environment my character is in because of the type of trees and their design. I want it to feel like, ooh, something wicked, is coming, or he's in a dangerous, he's in the Badlands, he's, in this dangerous area, or, like we started with page 1, the first page, it's the guy riding a horse in a forest. But then as the story goes on, it starts to get a little darker, a little creepier. So my environments need to reflect that, and the type of trees. There's a dead wood right there on the tree, just there, rotted wood, just, laying on the ground. It's the start of that darker environment, by starting to build in, these creepier trees. And I'm a big believer in just draw from imagination. We don't have time to draw and reference everything. So not everything has to be, I'm not referencing a tree. I'm just drawing just what looks good to me. Some stuff, if I need accuracy, I will go back and reference, meaning that I will look at a picture of a tree and go, okay, I have to draw this specific type of tree. So how does this tree bark look? What kind of leaves does this tree have? What shapes and stuff like that. But for this, it doesn't need to be. So I have fun. Just make up whatever textures, in there, just whatever textures I decide I want to put in. Darmex says, hail from Houston. Hey, another Texan. All right. Yeehaw. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard a Texan. I'm Texan. I'm born and raised Texan, but I've not heard anybody go yeehaw. But we do say y'all. We say y'all a lot. Y'all. We will say that. We say y'all crazy. Y'all. That's us. And let's see. Kirby Patterson never half-assed 2 things. Whole ass 1 thing. Ron Swanson's dad. Yeah. Well, if you think about it, an ass is 2 parts. It is split down the middle. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't, you'd be off balance. Just one part of the ass, and you'd walk in circles, maybe, or sitting down, you'd fall over. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with Ron Swanson's dad. Whole ass 1 thing, that's funny, man. I like that. Darwin says, I haven't done trees in a while. Yeah, trees can be really cool. What I liked about like Batman was, especially with artists like Mark Silvestri, Dave Finch, guys that I've watched draw. They did stuff like made the buildings in Batman look pretty damn cool, man. And they made them visually stimulating when you look at it. You're just like, wow, there's some kick-ass buildings. They were very gothic. And of course, there were more artists out there. They weren't the guys that invented that, but they could do that. And so now that most of my issue number 1 takes place in, it's in the country because it's a Western, but it's a Western horror. So it makes them as cool and creepy trees as possible. So I'm thinking about adding moss on the tree, but I'm like, that's in the jungle, more of a a wet area. It wouldn't be moss here in this, unless it's winter, maybe. I don't know. So you got to see there's a lot of things going on in my head. And I'm referencing back to the first page. It's like, I got to think about what's the weather like in the scene, in this comic book. He's riding on the horse, right? So you can see a little more rendering. See my character, he's riding on his horse. What kind of weather is going on here? What type of season is it? In my head, I'm thinking, fall right now. I'm thinking it's nighttime. It's dusk, or is it dawn? Dawn, because it's becoming night. So it's dawn. It's he's riding through a lot of these cool little earthy textures, and I put some earthy textures down here with some cool the way that I shaded in these rocks and gravel and dirt and mud and just earth. And that was zoomed in a lot, but you can kind of see I break it up just to, so that's not a solid black and white, but I want to have different values in the work so that the work can look good even if we do a black and white. This is a full color book, but it's, in case I do a black and white edition like I did for Dragon Rage. But this one's going to be a full color. I'm going to color it, and I want to have this book done before I launch it. So at least all the pencils and inks, I want to have that done. Or I should say all the pencils done, but I'm shooting to have the inks all done. So I'm thinking, there's some leaves coming off the tree. There's some wind. It's cool. You can see that the moon, the sun is setting right there. It's falling behind the mountains. Guy riding the horse. And then we see kind of this ominous presence, these wolves, these hunters, these predators, they're wolves, and they're watching the cowboy, looking over. So we don't know what's going to happen there, but these wolves are watching. So I have to keep in mind, let your imagination run and play in the world that you're drawing and think about, where, what it feels like there, what's the temperature, all that kind of stuff. The more that you can do, and the more information you feed your mind, the better that you're going to draw. I'm going to draw the horse, render in the horse now. So in my drawing, if you look, I already have my preliminary down. That's everything that I need. Like I said, the rendering really, to me, isn't really part of a drawing skill. It's not one of the most important. The rendering is the icing on the cake. It's a dressing. If you do it right, you can use it to add in mood. You can add in weight, dimension to your drawing, because right now there's not a lot of weight in the illustration. But with the rendering, you can add clarity, where you can help. Clarity means that you can help separate the elements within your drawing, where you can see that there's a different texture on the horse versus that tree that I just drew. So you can see that there are different type of elements and textures. One is, of course, one is this rotten wood texture, and the other is, fur and flesh, that kind of thing with the horse. So while I was talking right now, in my mind, working at the same time very rapidly, was my brain trying to say, okay, where's the light source going to be? Where do I want it? So I'm thinking of making my light source being somewhere maybe over here by the mountain. Well, let's go back to the first page. The sun was setting over, and he's walking. So maybe the sun will be in front of the moon coming up, the moonlight and all that will be in front of him. So when I do my horse, I'm thinking I will probably put in some light sources right there where these arrows are. Like, that'll be my light, and my shadows will then be somewhere, under here, casting shadows back that way. So that's what's working in my brain really quick. And as you draw, a lot of times, this will happen automatically in our mind. So it can be difficult for an artist to articulate and describe what's going on in our brain as we are drawing, because a lot of it, when you get to some point, some of it is just kind of happening so fast that you really don't realize how much your brain is processing all at once. It's as artists, and as an artist, and this isn't my ego talking, this is science, really. You guys can Google it, look it up. But we as artists are considered genius. I'm not book smart, I'm sketchbook smart. Like that's what I am. When it comes to drawing, I can do things that in a way that my brain will work and function. That's genius. It's like, whoa, and it sounds cocky, but you know, I'm a good artist. I've earned the right. I've paid my dues. I've earned the right to have a little bit of an ego, confidence. Let's just call it confidence, right? That's more humble. If we say it's confidence, really it's, it's my ego, man. I got more, No, the thing is, I'm aware. I'm aware that I'm a skilled artist. I'm also aware that I'm not where I want to be. I don't think I'll ever be where I want to, satisfied with my work completely, where I go, I've made it. I'm awesome. I've reached the top. I never will. I will always keep, paddling, man. Just keep, trying to improve wherever I can, because the industry does improve. People are getting much better. Artists back in the 1400s, all the way through the 1600s, they really didn't understand perspective quite so well. They didn't have the type of art tools we have today. So their work, although they were very skilled, very masterful, it was still a bit limited. If you look back at some of the work compared to artists of a little more, more modern artists. And because artists are always evolving, I don't want to become stagnant. I've watched artists who thought they were the greatest, and I've watched them get passed by other artists. I've seen artists that have such egos and they think that their work is the greatest. And at one time they probably were. They probably were one of the top artists. But if you don't keep pushing and keep developing, you are going to get passed up. The artists are every day, new artists are developing and growing. But we are geniuses, man. We really are. We think and see things in a very unique way. So but what I was getting at was it's difficult to be able to articulate, but I will try my best to describe what is going on in my head as I work. One of the things that I do and how I'm able to draw is I visualize my image in my mind. And I always say every time I stream is that I draw with my brain. I draw with my imagination. I do not draw with my hand. My hand is it's a tool. I'm using my hand to deliver the illustration onto the paper or the screen in this case. That's why you hear, it's a tool. And that's why you hear artists say things such as hand-eye coordination. Your hand-eye coordination is very important. And you'll hear them say, draw every day. You have to draw every day because you have to recalibrate that hand-eye coordination almost daily. If you aren't doing this every day, then that muscle weakens, and you will find that you're going to have days where you're going to go, oh man, I drew so great last week, I'm struggling to draw today. Why am I struggling to draw today? Well, it's because you took a week off. You know, you have to calibrate your hand-eye coordination again. And draw every day. Stay conditioned. That way, it's easier for you to just get work done. You don't have to recalibrate. You'll find your imagination, your hand-eye coordination are all conditioned. They're in shape. You're able to just, get to work and do stuff. And people go look at it and watch you draw and go, oh my God, this guy's amazing. How does he do it? It's because you do it every day. You do it every day and you just, it becomes secondhand. It's familiar. And that's basically it, man. You just draw with your imagination, visualize it in your head, and then you project it onto the paper that you're drawing and your hand traces it. So you project it, I mean, you guys, there was a couple of streams back. I don't know if you guys remember. I drew the horse with no reference, just drew a horse because the horse was in my head. But as well, I should point out too, is that I've actually owned horses. I don't own them now, but I've ridden horses. I'm Texan, I've ridden horses. I've experienced horses in real life. So Leonardo, no, not Leonardo DiCaprio, but Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Franklin Booth, and Norman Rockwell, just amazing, artists and illustrators, some of the greats, they would always encourage people to live life. You draw from life. You draw from life experience. You need to live life. You got to get off your drafting table from time to time. You got to get out there, go hang out by some trees, man. Go swing on some trees. Go play like a monkey, just, don't injure any monkeys, but don't injure yourself. But, you go out there, you play on some trees, pay attention to the cars that are driving by, watch the sun reflect off the paint, how it shines, how it reflects. Watch the rain out your window. Just sit out your window. We're artists. You should be doing this stuff. Artists, we are romantic. We do have feelings. We have imaginations. And the great artists do. And every artist does, but the great artists are the ones that realize that we do. So watch the rain out your window. Just watch how the rain drops. Watch how the light, how the light is, the light goes through a single drop of water, but it will bend in how the light bends and it changes directions and all kinds of things. And watch how the water drop itself changes shape based on the gravity and then based on, the velocity and then the impact of wherever it's hitting and the size and the amount of water. I mean, just, and it sounds crazy and all that, but then, this is how I can draw. This is how I didn't draw for 30 years. I was an inker. This is how I didn't start drawing. This is my second comic book. My first comic book was Dragon Rage, first comic I've ever drawn. And people ask me, oh my God, how did you get good? Like suddenly it was because I started doing it every day. I didn't draw every day. I was an inker and I drew 4 pictures a year, 4 illustrations a year as an inker. And I had no time to really develop my own skill and eye. And so I really couldn't call myself an artist because I wasn't drawing. You're not an artist. If you don't draw, you're not an artist. You have to draw. You can't call yourself a mechanic if you're not fixing cars. You can go, oh yeah, I changed the air filter on my Honda Civic. I'm a mechanic now. I don't want to brag, but I think I'm a mechanic now. I can change that oil filter. You know what? I put gas in my Honda Civic, I'm a mechanic now. So you can't call yourself an artist if you're not drawing. You can call yourself, you don't have to be a working professional. Working professionals is just, you're just getting paid for it. That's the only difference. But because you're not getting paid doesn't mean you're not an artist. It's just, you're just not getting paid yet. But you are an artist if you're drawing every day. It doesn't matter what your art looks like. You're drawing every day. You're working at it. You're an artist, and you got to start, thinking like one. So that's my, my philosophy, and it's totally up to you how you guys want to approach it and what you guys think about, what you think makes an artist or what can help improve an artist. But honestly, I agree with those greats. I say, live life, get out there, especially in a time right now where, I think the art is diminishing, not just because it's digital, but because digital artists are learning to draw straight digital, and they're not leaving. They're on social media. They're not going outside, experiencing life. They're not drawing from life. They're not drawing on traditional paper and pencil in their spare time, learning to feel, the resistance of the paper, the textures of the paper, and all that information, that we don't get digitally. It stimulates your imagination, your mind, your hand-eye coordination as you're working. So I always encourage everybody, you want to draw digital, that's fine. I draw digital, but I don't always draw digital. So pick up a pencil, put it to paper, pick up a brush, put it to canvas, whatever you want to do. But you need that information. Your brain needs that stimulation that you get from feeling those textures, the weights of, the type of pencil, the paper. And it's a really, it's a really great sensation that when you take and you use it, when you're drawing digital, you're going to find that if you go from traditional, you've been drawing traditional your whole life, you go to digital, it's suddenly silent. It would be like, imagine this is for, I'll clean it up. I was going to say like, your honeymoon night, but let's just clean it up. Let's just say you're trying to give your wife a massage and she is making no sound at all when you're giving her a massage. No feedback, nothing. You're getting nothing, silence, no movement, stiff, right? That's when you go digital. That's what digital is, just dead, silent. You don't get that feel, that texture, the graphite as it's going on the paper, and the micro, the type of fibers that are on the paper, of the texture, if it's tooth or if it's smooth. And, you're getting very, very little feedback from digital artwork. And it's just, it's that sensation that we need that, because that's how we connect to the illustration that we're making. So I really encourage people, do it, man. Go, draw traditionally as often as you can. And you might be saying, oh man, Jimmy's a little weird, man. He's creepy. He's weird. I'm a romantic. I'm an artist, man. That's what, this is really how I think every artist should be thinking. I mean, it's what, if you go and ask guys like Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo, John Romita Jr., anybody, any of these guys, these greats that are around today, that are still around, and you'll ask them, I'm sure they're going to agree. They're going to say, yeah, they need that resistance on the paper. It's valuable information. So, there's a lot from life. So go out and experience life, man. The Dawn says, hey, Jimmy, as always, your art is phenomenal. Dude, thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. And the Dawn says, just want to put the word out about the art auction we're having tonight on my channel at 7 p.m. To help Justin Belmont. Hope to see you guys there and help out a brother in need. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I didn't know that. And I don't know who Justin Belmont is, but I wish you guys luck and everything, and hope that Belmont's doing okay. And I'm not sure what the benefits in that are, but hopefully, I wish you guys the best. And art auctions, I think are incredible. I'm a fan of art. I am And I'm also a fan of Art T Bear. But I'm a fan of artwork. I really like art. I buy comics mostly for the art. There are a few comic books I will buy because I like the character, but primarily I just buy for art. And art auctions, I love them because I like to have as much original art as I can from different artists. I love to see their approach. I like to try to reverse engineer what an artist has done. I remember telling David Finch that I said, "Hey, I learned a lot inking your work. It helped me as a penciler, my own art." And he didn't believe that you could learn to draw simply by inking somebody else's work. And I think in general it's true, but it also depends on how observant you are, how aware you are of what you're inking and why you're inking that, why that artist did that. And I always try to dissect what a penciler has done. And I try to get in the mind of what that penciler, where they were when they were working on it, so that I can try to deliver a finished piece of what they had intended in the finished piece to look like. So I always try to deliver that. And so I didn't get offended when Dave kind of disagreed that somebody couldn't really learn just from the inking or from the inking somebody. But I did. I learned a lot inking over, many different artists, not just Dave. I learned a lot from a lot of artists. And but I think it's based on how aware you are, how conscious you are of it. So I love, art auctions. Any chance that I can go and get original art and I can extract and try to learn. Into Paint says Belmont's The Pencils Down Dude. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know him. I saw the Pencils Down cover on Ethan's channel when Ethan was showing. He showed it on a stream, or during the art auction that he had on his channel. I think he showed it to us. But I remember seeing a cover of it, and I don't, it looks cool. It looks like a neat character. Other than that, I don't really know what it's about. I don't know a lot about it, but that cover I saw was really kick-ass. That cover was really good. So I don't know the guy, but his art looked amazing. So I guess I'll have to try to watch more of the streams and stuff, try to find out what that book's about, because the art looked good. The Game Mechanic, I tried to buy some art at an auction, priced out of all pieces I was interested. Wait, I tried to buy some art at the art auction, priced out of all the pieces I was interested. Next time I'll save some money so I can win one. Yeah, there are so many talented artists out there, and then you never really know how those pieces will resonate with the audience, So you just try to offer a wide variety, of these. And I'm still trying to figure out what people want. Do people want more of my inks? Do they want me to draw something? Do they want me to draw mainstream characters, or do they want me to draw some CG characters? Because, I've had people tell me, oh, they love it. They want you to draw CG characters. And then I draw CG characters, and then the people aren't really as interested in it as they are when I draw mainstream. But then I draw a certain CG character, and it does great. It does amazing. It does better than the mainstream stuff. So I think it's a mixture of delivering what the audience wants at that time, and which CG character, which character you're drawing, either which character from pop culture or CG character or mainstream comic character. It just depends, you know. It's a very, very finicky, um, you know, market. You know, it's strange, but I do enjoy that, you know, I do like the idea that people have my art out there, and my art could last, you know, outlast me, and somebody will have that piece of work that I've done long after I'm gone. And I think, wow, that's really awesome. And so I think that's why I still try to do some traditional artwork, and then I try to offer it to the fans, you know, out there, and it's a chance for them to buy some original art at a, you know, at a lower price, you know, depending on what, you know, how many people are interested, and how you never know, you can bid on something and maybe get something pretty cheap and save money and have some original art, and not have paid thousands of dollars for it, you know, and still have some good quality work. So for me, I like that. I want to give back, you know, so I always try to produce some really cool stuff, and give people the option to buy it, you know, the fans. Like I want to do a cover to my book here, Darklanders. I want to ink it traditionally. So I'm thinking about maybe inking this cover that I've got for Darklanders traditionally. So this is the cover I've got to my book, Darklanders. One of the covers. This is a cover to issue number 2. So I'm thinking about putting a quill and brush to it, you know, and actually having it on 11 by 17 artboard, so that then whenever we have an auction, I can offer this piece up and say, here you go. Here's a chance to get this at, you know, there's no minimum bid, wherever it goes, you know. Norman says it would be nice to look at other mediums and see how to emulate into a comic book style. Yeah, that's where I got a lot of my work from. I always look at like Franklin Booth. I love Norman Rockwell. Anything Norman Rockwell. I try to collect as much Norman Rockwell as I can. Books. Unfortunately, when we bought our house, when we left, we were in a little townhome, and when we bought our house, we left, and we didn't realize we left a couple of boxes in my old studio in the closet. The movers, you know, we had movers move us, and they didn't notice there were boxes, and it was a pretty unique closet that had a little nook in the back, and I just had those books back there that were Norman Rockwell, and I had a Frank Frazetta and a couple other stuff in there, a couple of art books that weren't comic books. And we moved, and I totally forgot they were there. And by the time I realized, we had already been in the house for like almost 2 years before I was in my garage digging through boxes trying to find these books, and then realized, you know, they probably stayed in that closet in that little nook. So I only have one Norman Rockwell book right now, and I would love to get more. So I'm hoping I can get more Norman Rockwell books, man. I love that stuff. And I went back to try to buy some, since I don't own any right now. I couldn't really find any, and most of them were pretty expensive. So sadly, I don't really own that many Norman Rockwell, but hopefully, cross my fingers. Hopefully, maybe this book will do well, and I can, you know, splurge and get me some Rockwell. So, but yeah, I always say study artists from everywhere. They don't have to be just comic books. Wait, I drew the mouth. This is why you got a reference sometimes. I drew the mouth, and it's kind of reminds me of a camel. I've got to, I would say, reference. I mean, I'm still making it up in my head, but I don't know. I might have to reference the mouth here. I'll look up a picture of a horse, and I might have to look up a picture of a horse here. You know, I'll bring the lip back a little. Let's see what we can find. I might have to reference a horse's mouth here. I mean, because you could, it's cartooning. I could just leave it, but I like to try to draw as cool a horse as I can. So let's reference here. Let's see what we find. And Intupain says it's about CG. There's a lot of CG people in it, you know, and that's the thing too. Like you would think, you know, I think if I drew like Pit, Cyberfrog, I have a godlike piece I'm working on right now. And godlike, I think those originals would do really well. I think people would like to see them drawn in my style. And I have a godlike drawing that I'm doing that I'm going to ink it traditionally. And so I've been working on that one little by little as I have the time. But let me see what. Meanwhile, you guys can check out if you guys the Black Friday deal, and I'm gonna Google up a horse real quick to see what I can find. Both the inking kit and the penciling kit are on the Black Friday deal right now, going on from today through Monday, Cyber Monday, and then that deal is done. I've never done a Black Friday deal before, so take advantage of it. They're actually a little more work than I thought, so that's why I've never really done one. But yeah, doing it this year. So you guys go through, take advantage, and you know, before it's gone, then they go back to the regular price, and this way you can save some money. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Black Friday every year because this year I'm really busy, but I really wanted to still try to get it done, see what it's like. Free gifts for you guys. Go over, click the link at the top of the chat, pin to the top. Go through. It's free gifts. You guys can get templates, a free brush, a Kolinsky Saber brush. That's amazing. Getting amazing reviews from both professionals, amateurs. I mean, everybody, you know, is really impressed. I'm impressed with the brush. So I gave away for free. You can get samples of my inks, how I set up my inks, how I set up my files. You can download that template. You can see the way I've worked as an inker. And then you can you know, work in that same type of, we call it a like a workflow, in Clip Studio Paint, it's like a workspace on how you want to set up everything. But that template will give you the idea of how I set up my file. So if you want to work in that same style, you can just click the link at the top of the description. So here's that godlike piece that I'm working on. I drew in. There's this face of this guy that I think might be the father of Adam Raw. He's probably the Romulus. It's the Romulus saga. So he might be the Romulus who had been long forgotten and dead. They thought he was dead for, you know, millennia. So he's kind of a corpse, worn out, kind of like in Star Wars where you have the Emperor and he was just, you know, kind of coming back to life, or like in Underworld, you know, when the vampires sleep and you got Victor and Marcus, and they have to kind of revive themselves again, rejuvenate. So that's what this guy reminded me of. So when I saw him, I decided that I wanted to draw him kind of like in that style. I saw what John Malin had done and the way he had rendered the face. So I thought, I love rendering. I love drawing big faces, and I love the rendering, the light and the shadows. That has always been something that I've really, really enjoyed. I'm a big fan. I like things like Tomb of Dracula. I like this comic called Night Force. And so I'm a big, big fan. And, this is the way that the artist would draw and light and render. I'm going to do a video on it. But so I'm heavily inspired, by that art style. So I love drawing faces like that. I love drawing them with the shadows and stuff. Also, Drew Struzman. I love the movie posters that almost tell the story of what the film was like for the movie poster. And then there's the character himself, Adam Raw, the guy that is the main character in Godlike. He's got the TriStar, which is this like in Thundercats, the Sword of Power, He-Man, the Sword of Power, and in Thundercats they had the what was it called again in Thundercats? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh my God, I was just watching Thundercats 2 the other day. Oh my God. I'm telling you, when I start drawing, I can't remember the information. All the power goes to the creative side of the brain. And I'm like, I forget stuff. So, but anyway, he's got that kind of sword. It is it's called the TriStar. It's something that these particular heroes, they get this power and they use. And I just thought, it'd be kind of cool and fun to, get to kind of draw these cool type textures on him. He's got kind of an Iron Man kind of outfit, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to draw in these type of textures. I just kind of quickly shaded them in real fast. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on it, but it was just an idea I had. I just drew it real quick. And then there's this girl, and I always forget to pronounce her name, what her name is, but she's the chick that has that black over her eyes, and then there's a little like goatee. She has like this little black face paint that looks like a goatee under her chin. But John always draws her with really big boobs. So I thought, hey, that's the character design. So I'm shading in, rendering all that. There's some tech material. She's got this tech stuff, old world, new world. It's like in the future, and the world gets kind of this universe gets thrust into a dark age like Thundar. It's sci-fi and like some dark age kind of stuff in it. So I put in some tech stuff. This one in the front, I had started inking it when I had the drawing done differently. And I started adding more characters. So I just pasted in what I had already inked, and I lightened it. So then I just ink over it again and draw on it again. Just a little bit of tech, like broken tech and stuff, just to kind of go with that kind of theme. And then here's this face of this chick. I don't really know, much about her. I've read Godlike, but issue number 1, I mean, there's still kind of, I forgot her name. Her name is in Godlike. It wasn't like Nemesis or something like that. It was, I forgot what her name was. But then, I want to have the moon or some planet in the background. And what made me laugh is that I realized when I was drawing the planets and I was studying the planets within Godlike, I'm like, John always jokes about being a flat earther, but yet all the planets in Godlike are round. I was like, that's funny. Made me laugh. I just think stupid stuff all the time. So I thought, I'm going to make a planet in there, but when I color it, I want to color in the planet. And so I didn't draw in any detail in it, but I was just having fun with this. This was just something that I'm doing on the side. This is stuff that I do that is my creative outlet. So when I'm drawing my book, drawing like we just drew this horse, this tree, that's work, and I need to have something, and I enjoy it. It's fun. I do, but I need something that it isn't, that there is no deadline. There is no editorial. It's just fun, for me, I can just do it at my leisure. So I decided to do some godlike fan art. And then I thought, when I finish it, I'm going to ink it traditionally. Sword of Omens. Yeah, that's it. Sword of Omens. It was on the tip of my tongue. I was like, Sword of Omens. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of He-Man, Thundar, Star Wars, the Chronicle of Riddick, in Godlike. It has all these different elements of sci-fis that from the 80s and some of the 2000s that I enjoyed. So, I mean, John and I both, we both came from Image and Marvel. So he's worked at Image and Marvel. I've worked at Image and Marvel. We both have a lot of the same influences. The first comic I had, one of the first comics I had ever owned was Youngblood #1. One of the first comics I had ever bought. Wildcats #1 was the first comic I ever bought. Then I walked in the store and they're like, "Oh, if you like, comics, here's they reprinted Youngblood #1." And so I bought that book. Unfortunately, though, John raves about Rob Liefeld's work. I never understood Rob Liefeld's work, but I appreciate it. I like the exaggerations and I like the excitement in it. There's a lot of excitement and dynamic stuff. I just think that you could tell he learned to draw comics from comic books, and he, it just seems that way. Where it's very, very, it's a little more comic book exaggeration than I would like in my work, than the stuff that I appreciate. So. But it's not to say he's not he's been a successful artist, so nothing wrong if you like Rob Liefeld. So, for me, I just never got into the Youngblood, but I can see the influence in the designs that John puts into his stuff. And honestly, I like the Godlike comic book. I do. I like it. I want to see where it's going. It's a good concept. I think at the beginning, it's a little unpolished. I think he's trying to still figure out how he wants to tell the story. He's got so much idea and story he wants to tell that, it needs to be, I think it definitely needs an editor. It definitely needs somebody like Sparrow. He's that guy is a good editor. You need some type of editor on there to help collect the ideas, because for me with Dragon Rage, my ideas were getting just out there. I had so many things I want to do in Dragon Rage. I brought in Dave Philpott and he really organized it, condensed it. We told the important stuff in the setup of issue #1 that we needed. So it wasn't so convoluted. It wasn't too difficult to understand. We made it, we introduced characters where it was easier to digest. And I think Godlike really needs that, because it's great. I love it. I can see all the cool designs. I love the red planet. I love the red, like mist and dust. And I love all the, the characters. I thought they were all great, man. It's definitely reminded me a lot. You could tell because it was designed during the time of Dune #1, when the remake of Dune was coming out, that I think that had a big influence on it. And it felt like a Philip, not Philip K. Dick. Oh man, now I'm drawing a blank on who did Dune. He's Texan too. Henry. Why am I drawing a blank on that one? I gotta go eat lunch. That's what I gotta do. But anyway, here's some fun stuff. This is stuff that I did with the penciling kit. All within Clip Studio Paint. This is just pencils that I've made. Stuff that I just enjoy drawing. This kind of stuff, having fun. I put in a little bit of tech, kind of like Travis Charest kind of stuff, because I know John likes that. I put that a little bit in there. It did remind me of Dune, so I put in some like cliff and rocks and stuff into it, and I put a little bit of Iron Man because he's kind of got an Iron Man kind of outfit. So I know he likes Will Spertasio, and so I kind of, so do I. So I kind of rendering some of the stuff like the Will Spertasio would do with Iron Man, because that's my influences and stuff. And I'm just drawing back from memory. All this stuff. Those images are engraved in my mind, because it's how I've developed my imagination. I can just see something and then I can just draw it. I don't have to keep looking at it. Like this horse. I drew the horse without reference, and I think I'm on the reference now, though. I think I need it. Yeah, Herbert. Thank you, Herbert. And man, I was like, how? Yeah, thank you, Herbert. We're doing Dune, and he's got several things that books that I like. I enjoy reading. But when I said Philip K. Dick, it reminded me of. Have you guys ever seen a movie from the '90s called Screamers? That was taken from a short story by Philip K. Dick, who created Blade Runner. I almost forgot Blade Runner. Oh, this ginger is like spicy. It's supposed to like help your stomach. And I'm painting cheetah. I'm painting a Chitara. Chitara. Why am I can't read today. I'm painting a Chitara at the moment, but I keep flipping between my X-Men pinups. Oh, that's fine. That's what I do too. Like I'll take a little break and I will just kind of flip back and forth. I'll go chip away at that little godlike drawing that I'm working on, or I will do. Then I'll come back and work on my stuff, things like that. Like I do all that kind of stuff over, and I bounce back and forth. Let's see here. So this is a horse in his mouth. I'm gonna draw, and oh, that's great, man. If you do a godlike, Into Paint says, I plan to do a godlike pinup eventually. Yeah, that's like me. I eventually plan on getting that godlike pinup finished. I'm trying to so I'm looking at this thing up on the screen, my screen over here, and this is how I reference. I just need to find a picture of a horse. It doesn't have to be in the exact same position or anything, because I'm not drawing a copy of this photo. I'm just extrapolating information from the photo. I'm just taking, the shape of his mouth and the way his mouth bends and moves, just to help redefine mine a little bit. Just to flesh out my drawing a little. And so I will use reference when needed. And I like the shading on the cheek. You know what? Maybe I'll just pull this into so you guys can see it. I'll watch me as see what I'm doing with it. Let me just pull that in real quick. Okay, so this is the way that I will reference when I need a reference. Let's say so here is a picture of a horse, and what I like on this horse is that right there is like this vein that goes across the face. So I like that. I like how like right here there's this shadow, right? And then there's this white in between. And then you have the shadow again. So you kind of break these lines. And I like that in the drawing, in the photo. So that's going to be helpful information. I like this shadow, how dark this is. It almost has the same light source I do. So there's information here that I can easily just take from that and put into my drawing. So I'm going to do that over here and just kind of play with that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put in like a vein that was just coming through. And then I can put more shading here. I like this. It's got this horse has this little extra fold right here. So you don't always need to draw exactly from a photo, but you can always pull in little reference to help along the way. Because you don't want to spend forever just trying to find photos. That would be crazy. And if you do, you'll find artists that go, "Oh man, I'm kind of slow," and it might be because they're not used to using just their imagination. They don't have a lot of this stuff memorized. So the more you can memorize, the easier it'll be. I even like that shadow he's got. I don't know if it's a he. I mean, whatever this horse is. I haven't looked up his skirt. I don't know, but I want to just put more shadow there. Yeah. Oh, look, there's another little thing I can use. I want to change the brow. That's what I see on this horse here. And then, I can, there's a little more information too. I'm going to change that eyelid. So I guess it's good that I referenced a little bit here. Let me see. I want to draw that eye. I always remember the horse's eyes being black, and I know they have a little eyelid, but I totally forgot, I guess. I know that when a horse, their eye is black, and I know that they always have this little white shine reflects off of it. I wonder if a horse sees in black and white. I don't know. Oh, that's the shape that I wanted, but I filled it in black. There we go. All right, not bad, not bad. I got pretty close from just memory. I mean, I can't remember every little detail, but I always try to remember as much as I can from it, visualize it. Not bad. There you go. And just make that horse, And there's my drawing of the horse. But I've got to go eat my lunch. Here's the tree that we drew earlier. I'm going to keep working on that. This is an actual page, actual work page. So it's going to take me all day just to draw one side of it. And I'll probably split it into 2 days because I want to, this side won't take as long. I bet I can do this side probably about 4 to 6 hours. Knock that part out. This is the one that's going to take longer. There's just a lot more detail in there, even though that preliminary sketch looks pretty loose, but really there's still a lot more buckles and straps and stuff I got to render in there. And then have fun with the trees. Finish this horse. Horses are pretty fun. It's pretty cool way to draw. I like drawing the horses like this with they have a lot of muscle everywhere and a lot of these tendons, and they're pretty lean. So these horses, they're not eating McDonald's burgers. They are McDonald's burgers. No, these horses are pretty lean muscle, pretty cut. And it's neat to show like all the different layers of muscle and tendons that would be under them, and just showing their anatomy that way. I always think it's just amazing and fantastic. So I'm going to have fun drawing this horse, but you guys take it easy. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate that you guys are out here spending the day before Thanksgiving. I know many of you guys are probably really, really busy right now getting ready for Thanksgiving. But so I drew the horse from imagination. You guys, a couple of streams back, I don't remember what stream it was. I showed you guys the horse from blank, and we drew the horse. It was 2 live streams ago. I'm sure you guys that watch regularly remember I show how to draw a horse from imagination, but it is good to be able to pull up some reference, the reason the way that I use reference and is just to extrapolate information, I didn't draw the horse picture. I drew my horse, and then I used the picture of the horse to be able to refine my drawing, to add in extra little details and shadows and stuff like that. So to me, that's the way that you draw with reference, so that it doesn't slow you down, but it can just be an extra aid and help you. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Into Paint says, he says, see ya, Jimmy. Krabby Patty says, that is the smoothest looking horse. It must be like 3 years old. Well, yeah. This is a young horse. Well, in the story, the horse is actually a character. She's got a name. It's a female horse in the story, and she's got a name. And we get to see her. This particular cowboy runs into we'll say like a gypsy, because in the Wild West they really refer to them more as like wise women or gypsies. They didn't really call them witches, but you can see here there is a character, and when he goes inside the cabin, he sees this woman. She's not topless. I haven't finished rendering her dress. I was trying to figure out if I want to make it a turtleneck, or if I want to show more of her cleavage, that kind of thing. And he sees this cat, and this cat is, and I draw the cat the same way. I just draw the shape of a cat, and then I'll look up a picture of a cat and then just trying to refine it little by little. And I usually, at the beginning, it used to be difficult to get the mouth right, but I've learned since then how to really streamline, and I can draw a cat now. I can draw almost any animal. For me, that's my strength, is I can draw animals and women, female characters, really easily. For me, I struggle when I'm drawing the dudes, because I don't know, I never studied dudes. It's like I never looked at guys that long, I barely want to look at myself, but I am trying to improve all areas now. So I'm working on the male anatomy a lot more now and trying to draw cooler male characters. But here's this character. I don't want to say her name yet, or the name of the cat, but it's a gypsy. We'll just say witch, with her mouth sewn and her eyes are glazed over like she's possessed, and the cat. So it's going to be a pretty cool, interesting story and character. The characters are what make the story. The characters are what makes the story interesting. You still have to have a story, and you have to have your characters, and then your characters, you have to really think about, what type of characters you have. What's their motivation? Is your character ambitious? Does your character have strength and weaknesses? And it's the characters that will keep the readers coming back. But cool, fun artwork is the attraction that brings people to it. And so the cat, I don't want to draw an anthropomorphized cat. I don't want my cat to look like the Cheshire Cat or Garfield. It's still a cat, but how do you emote a cat, right? Like, how do you show emotion within a cat, and to show he doesn't have the same kind of facial features a human does, but yet I need to show boredom, fear, excitement, all that within a cat without making it too anthropomorphized. I mean, I am making it human-like, so it is anthropomorphized by, but I don't want to make it too cartoony. And so, look, there's like the cat kind of has a, and then over here, he's like, he's like, stupid joke, like he's not impressed. You know what I mean? Because cats are, I don't own a cat. I don't really get cats. I know a lot of people that like cats, that have cats, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I don't really want to own an animal that is going to eat me when I die, or they're just looking at me like, waiting for me to die, so I don't know. Cats don't really appeal to me, but having to draw this cat now, I'm having to spend time with a cat. So we have this stray cat in the neighborhood that just adopted my neighbor's house. So now I go outside for a walk. This stupid cat stupid cat. Well, the cat, to me, like, I think the cats are like always jerks, but this cat follows me every time I walk. Like he knows I'm allergic to him, and he just like suddenly wants to be my buddy. And he takes the walk with me. I walk up and down the street, and this cat goes with me, and he's just walking along my side, and he follows me. And so the cat and me walking with this cat, I started to think of the type of personality this cat would have. And I thought, oh my God, I'm putting you in my book. So to me, that's why I always say go out and experience life. Even that little minor thing of me just going out, right? Mundane thing, getting out, going to walk, because my doctor says go walk. So I get out and I go walk. And as I'm walking, this little striped, the cat that follows me is a gray striped cat. And the one that I'm drawing is more of a black cat. But as he was walking and following me, he kind of had this personality. And I'm kind of going like, oh, I kind of see why people think like, oh, my cat's got a personality. Oh, he's so cool. But it's like, nah, that cat, that guy could care less. He's just like, hey, I love you. Feed me. And then if you don't feed him, he's like, I don't like you anyway. I'll go find somebody else. And so this cat, I just kind of think about his personality, and I just thought it's kind of neat. And then I started thinking of ideas and inspired ideas. And so, fortunately, I'm allergic. I can't really pet this cat and play with it. Plus, it's a stray. I don't think you should be touching strays. But I let him get close, and he walks up to me, and I stop and I'll look at him, and he just sits there and he looks back at me while he's licking himself. And when we stop, to walk, he'll pull up his leg, and he's like, I don't know if it's a girl or guy, I don't know. But it's like licking away. And then I go, and then I start walking, and then he looks up and he's like, kills back, or she keeps licking for a little bit, lets me get a head start, and then scurries along and catches up to me. And I watch all this stuff and I think about it all, and it inspires me for an idea. So when I say live life, that's what I mean. Just take a moment. Don't go walking and go through your social media. You're going to miss so much opportunity to just experience what's out there. Even when you're walking, you can just feel the breeze. You can look up in the sky and see how to draw a sky. You can feel the wind blowing. You can look at trees. You can look at the grass. You can look at houses and the architecture or designs of your houses in your neighborhood, and just get ideas, and all that information gets stored in your brain. So when you draw a house, a cat, a sky, or whatever, you're drawing from experience, and you have that reference, and you can just draw from imagination. So go out there, experience life. I'm going to go get some lunch, and hopefully, who knows, man, maybe I'll experience some adventures. Go out there and experience adventures. Crab Patty says, is she like Zorro's horse? Because that's the coolest horse in the fiction next to Gandalf's. Dude, wow. Yeah. You know, Zorro, Diego, is it Diego Montoya? Is the name of Zorro. Yeah, Zorro's a big influence for me. I grew up with hearing about Zorro and watching Zorro movies and stuff long before comics. And so Zorro is a big influence to me. Although Zorro and the story of Zorro, supposedly he came from Spain, but he fought for the Mexican independence from Spain. You know, kind of a weird conflict kind of thing. I think it was in the original Zorro. I might be wrong, but that's the way I remember the book that I read. But yeah, Diego's horse, exactly. Well, in the Zorro that I read, his name was Diego. Maybe, I don't know. It's been told so many times over and over, but I don't know if they changed the name or what. But yeah, like Zorro's horse, kind of. Of course, they copied that with the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger copied. They copied giving that horse a name, its character, things like that. So this particular horse, yeah, it's kind of like that. She's got a name. She's a character in the book. I think, but I think you guys are going to like her a lot. It's a pretty cool everything. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. I love drawing animals, like I said. So because I love drawing animals, there's going to be animals in my book that are pretty cool, fun characters. And earlier, I showed you guys earlier the wolves. And a lot of the stuff just straight from imagination. So it's not completely accurate, but that's how I can animate and make these things, kind of give them facial expressions and gestures, because it's just drawn from imagination. Because real wolves don't emote. They don't show emotion. But if I'm going to make them characters, they have to do it. So, you know, you got to just draw them up. But, you know, I do reference back, kind of look back, like the Disney animators. You know, they would sit, when they drew Bambi, they brought in a fawn and deers, and they just, you know, they studied, you know, rabbits and stuff like that, so that you see how the body bends and moves, because you have to gesture. You know, these characters have to act. They need to gesture. They need to mime. So you have got to study how the real animal moves. And because I don't have the budget, you know, these big Disney movies have, where they can bring in animals, but we have the luxury now. We can just YouTube, you know, Instagram has videos, tons of animal videos, and I just watch them. I just watch videos of wolves, watch them, you know, while I eat my lunch. I'll just watch a video on a wolf and see how they bend and they move. And then a lot of that really helps me with the gesture and the body language when I draw stuff, when I draw these animals. And then you guys saw where, you know, just to kind of help refine that horse a little bit, I pulled a picture of a horse because I don't have a horse next to me. So to pick and extrapolate little information on the face, just to make the face a little more interesting. So, but thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate that. And yeah, see, there you go. De La Vega. That's what it was. It was De La Vega. You're right. It wasn't Montoya. Montoya was the Princess Bride. But you're right. It was Don Diego De La Vega. That's right. Absolutely, it was. I remember Diego De La Vega, and then he was originally from Spain, right? He's a Spaniard, but he ends up fighting for the freedom, Mexico's freedom, because they were under Spain's rule, something like that, right? He fights for the people or something. It's been a long time. I mean, I was a little kid when I read it, but it stuck with me. I love it. The original Zorro is Don Diego de la Vega. In the Antonio Banderas movie, he plays a successor named Alejandro. Is it that Muerta? Trained by an elder and retired Don Diego. Oh man, dude, that movie was by a British actor, right? Who did his Spanish accent like, oh, Miss Moneypenner. Like, oh, Don Diego, you are, you know, and I was like, oh, God, that is the worst Spanish accent I've ever heard. And then when he was in Highlander, Oh, Highlander, you want to, it's the same thing. I was like, oh my God, he's a great actor. I love his work, but he just couldn't do the Spanish accent. He didn't even try. He was a Spaniard in both. And I was like, oh man, it's like it was the worst. It took me out of the movie. But other than that, I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. But thanks a lot, guys. I hope you guys go over, get yourself some free stuff. There is free stuff. Link top of the description. Up here, I'm gonna put the link. Up here for you guys just before I leave here. So if you guys want to go over and get free stuff for Clip Studio Paint, or if you want to take advantage of the Black Friday sale, and if you guys are wondering what is the Black Friday sale, I've marked down for the first time in 6 years is a Black Friday deal on both of my kits. I have the digital inking, the digital inker kit comes with 10 brushes right now. It's going to have 11 brushes soon. Comes with over 3 hours of video that tutorials and tips and advice and how to customize brushes, how I set up my Wacom Cintiq, how I set up all my preferences in Clip Studio Paint, how I set up my file for inking, how I set up my pages. I even show how I throw some lines and how to get better lines. There's a lot of little tips and advice in that video. It's over 3 hours long. So it is definitely way over the value. It is definitely worth way more. The value is worth way more than $10. It was 30 years of experience that I have put into my inking techniques and into my skills, and I'm offering them there for you guys. Try to help you guys so that you can speed things up and not have to spend the 30 years that it took me to learn how to ink. And then I have the penciling kit, which also comes with pencils that feel like a real HB pencil to do your gestures with, a real 2mm 2H pencil. It feels like a real mechanical pencil, the kind that you've seen David Finch draw with that are very, very popular. Jim Lee draw with them. I've drawn with them. I used to draw with them all the time. So I took traditional tools and made them digital. And they're designed by an actual professional artist who knows what these brushes should feel like, what it is that they're mimicking. Because I've drawn traditionally for, most of my career has all been digital. I just recently traditional. Most of my career has been traditional. I've just recently gone digital, and in the past 6 years, I've been digital. And so it also comes with templates that if you guys want to know, well, what do I draw in, and how do I know what's the safe image area to draw in? This kit comes with a template right here that will show you everything in the standard size comic book, where the safe image area is, where your trim area is. If you want to draw full bleed, where the full bleed is. This is for a standard Western comic book here in the US. So it's got everything in it that you need so that you do draw and in a safe area and know it's a safe space, guys. So that you know that when you go to print, you're not going to have to adjust anything. If you have to adjust anything, it would be so minor. So you're drawing within the right format. But if you also want to draw within professional measurements, then you're used to the traditional feel and you want that like traditional layout, this is the papers that when I worked on Avengers, these are the measurements that Marvel had. This right here. So this is like the Marvel paper, and it has all the instructions. It has the same thing: your trim, your bleed, your safe image area. It has all those measurements. If you prefer, draw them right there in the blue line. There's a little layer of instructions right here where I kind of show you the pencil, the wooden HB pencil, what the pencil looks like for the HB, what the mechanical pencil, with a little more detail, what it looks like. You can also change the color of the pencil lid, draw non-photo blue. You have a big graphite pencil to shade in large areas. You know, if you've got a huge area you just want to shade in with your pencil, you can now just do that with just a stroke, you know, a single stroke, and it will cover so much area depending on how big you want to make that brush go. And then here's just an example of a loose drawing done with that HB pencil. Just a quick, you know, sketch, and you guys can see it, and you can see that large background graphite pencil at work right there. You can just see that shading real fast, just real quick strokes done on there. So this kit is on sale, guys. So if you guys get a chance, go over and check it out. Well, take it easy, guys. Thank you so much for watching me as I worked and draw on here. We drew a little bit, drew some cool horse and trees. So I appreciate that you guys watch me work, and I'm gonna go get some lunch. So you guys take it easy. Have a happy Thanksgiving. You guys be safe, and I'll see you guys again in the next live stream.